But when I look out and I see your young man, your young woman, I see our next city government leaders. I see the next NFL players. I see the next Major League Baseball players. You thought I forgot, didn't you? I didn't forget. I remember it. I see the next graphic art designers. I see the next cosmetologists. I see the next music producer. I see the next business manager. I see the next police commissioner. I see the next Air Force service member. I see our future. These young people are our future, and we have to believe in them, and we need to guide them and ensure that they reach the goals and level of success that they aspire to be.
Jariah Foote. Now we will acknowledge the students on the stage for their certificates. Javian Torrance, Malia Richardson, Kobe Johnson, Charles Gaskin, Layla Sterlett, Elijah Johnny, Kiara Maddox. Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations to the class of 2019.
Say it was an amazing ceremony, and I want to make sure that that we have not lost the fact that the video that was produced by the team was perfect. And sure, I mean, technology is amazing, but technology can also be used against us if we are not putting the right controls in place. And so what you don't know is our partners that are here from Estonia, they were talking cyber before we were even thinking cyber. And so while they're here as partners with us, the thing that we're doing is trying to ensure that we can learn as much from them as they can learn from us as well. And then when we have our Defense Force individuals, so if most folks don't know, is my Defense Force is an all-volunteer force. That's one of my pillars, so it's my all-volunteer force. And just as well as some of our folks, but these folks are also working for the big companies.
Behind is a door. Just a simple door you would find in the building.
First, when you were 16 years old, before you were going to go to the military, what was your dream?
So I never dreamed that I was going into the military. I wanted to be an electrician. Yes. I had a fascination with electricity. Probably an unhealthy fascination with electricity. I like to take TVs and things apart and put them back together, clocks, radios. I thought that I was going to be what we call a lineman, to work on the high power, the high tension lines, right? So
really high-end stuff, and that's what I had wanted to be. But when I found myself having to quit school, I was just like, well, how am I going to do that? I had no idea. So my path went completely different. So that was my dream. Yes, ma'am.
How did you handle the pressure? I mean, you said you had a child, you were a single mother, and you had all those jobs and you had to work. So what was the one thing that made you relax, that you did for yourself? What made you go on?
So one of my jobs, believe it or not, was teaching aerobics. I was an aerobics instructor for like 6 years. So not only did I make money doing that, so it was pretty cool, but that helped me, my exercise, and even today, I exercise to stay, to reduce the stress. But I will tell you that when you're responsible for another life, so my daughter, when you're responsible for another life, that gives you new life. And so seeing her every single day, I knew I had to keep going. And both my daughters, I have 2 daughters. One's 36. She's a sergeant, a detective on the police force in our state and in our county. Yes, it's pretty cool. And she's really good. So she just caught some really stupid criminals the other day. And then my other daughter is waiting to hear if she's going to go to naturopathic medicine school. And so we're hoping to hear this week, actually. And so when you are responsible for a family, you find a way. So, yes, sir.
During your hard times, did you always have hope that it might work out in the end, or was there at any point that you thought that this is it, this is game over? And if you always had hope, what was it that kept you going? What was your daughter the only motivation that you needed, or did you find something else in yourself that kind of helped you move on?
Well, so I never felt like it was game over, even though it was pretty bleak at times. I felt like, why is the system working against me? And why doesn't the system help more? I felt like the system failed me. And you would say, well, why? Because I was put out of my home, and there was really nothing, I mean, what could I have done about it? I was sexually molested. What could I have done about it? Because when I tried to fight the system, I was not believed, right? They did not believe me. My parents didn't believe me. And so I felt like the system really failed me early on. And the only thing that I could do was to count on myself. But I had immense faith. That was the one thing that underlines kind of all of this, is my grandmother was an amazing woman. And she raised me with a belief that I could do anything. And so I just continued to believe that. But she also showed me that it takes a lot of hard work. You know, my grandmother raised, so she had 17 kids, 3 died at birth. And she took me on at 3 months old. But she cleaned other people's houses for a living and then came home and took care of us. And so when you've got that kind of a role model, she never ever complained. And that made it all kind of worth it, because I felt like I wanted to succeed, and I wanted to be able to put her in a house with running water, because I grew up in a house without running water, without plumbing, period. We didn't have, and then we had to go to the outhouse. And so I was working towards trying to see if I could do something to even make her life better. So that's what kept me going. So, yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Yes.